This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Prime Minister's vision on housing for all, policy initiatives and progress. The participants are Dr. Ranjit Mehta, economic analyst, and Shishir Sinha, journalist.
Dr. Mehta, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has handed over 3,000 newly constructed flats at Kalkaji in Delhi under in situ slum rehabilitation project. And basically the effort is to provide housing for all. This is one more step towards providing housing for all under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban scheme. Dr. Mehta, when we say housing for all, what exactly it means for a common man?
When we talk about housing for all, on 25th June 2015, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji announced housing for all by 2022. This was the mission. Because the government thought that time around 70 years, people are still not having a pakka house in urban areas to live. So then at that time, they estimated in 2017 that in urban India, people are migrating from rural to urban. The rate of migration is very high. And as per a report, by 2030, 40% of population of India will be urbanized. Therefore, due to this heavy migration from tier 1, tier 2 cities or from rural area to urban areas, there is huge pressure in cities like Delhi, Mumbai and all. So people, they start staying in Jhuggi, they create the Jhuggi clusters. So therefore, their health is compromised and their working productivity is compromised. So government in 2017, they estimated that we need at least 1 crore houses for the people who are houseless all over the country in more than 4,000 districts. So the scheme was launched in 2015. So government decided by 2022, people who are houseless, they should have house, they should have a pakka house to live. And in this category, there is EWS housing for economically weaker section. There is LIG, lower income group, and MIG. So these all are part of affordable housing.
Okay.
So particularly when we talk of PMAY, Pradhan Mantri Housing Yojana, in that, if you look at the urban, so the estimation was for 1 crore houses. And by the end of 31st March 2022, the government has already constructed 62 lakh houses against requirement of around 100 lakh houses, that is 1 crore houses. And money has been released for 40 lakh houses at that time. They'll be constructed, I think that by the end of this year or next year. At the same time, this Housing for All scheme was initially for up to 2022. This has also been extended till 31st December 2024 by a cabinet decision of Government of India. So here, because since, housing is a state subject, so due to this federal structure of our democracy, the states also have to play a very significant role in giving the houses for the poorest who are living in the urban areas.
Dr. Mehta, let me give the updated figures. You rightly mentioned about figures up to March 31st, 2022. We have figures up to 31st October 2022.
Yeah.
And that says there is a demand of 1.12 crore.
Yeah.
You mentioned about 1 crore.
Yes.
1.12 crore.
Okay.
Out of that, 1.22 crore have been sanctioned. Then the groundbreaking is for more than 1 crore and total construction is almost 64 lakhs. So this is a huge number if we track the progress of the scheme. One important thing is that out of all these things, we are seeing investment of over 8 lakh crore. This 8 lakh crore investment in real estate sector appears to be having a multiplier effect. What do you have to say on this kind of multiplier effect because of the investment of more than rupees 8 lakh?
Yeah, it's a very good question. In fact, when we talk of housing sector especially, housing sector has a multiplier effect on 265 various industries and sectors. Once a house is being constructed, then there is cement, there is steel, there's other interior things and bathroom fittings and everything. The 265 industries are affected by ancillary industries, which are equally affected by this housing boom. So therefore, when we talk of an investment or an outlay to be allotted for housing sector, 8 lakh crore, so that means there is so much of economic activity in India. So therefore, there'll be employment generation for the people, because housing is also, once a housing activity is in the rise, then therefore a lot of employment is also generated through that. It has a definitely multiplier impact, not only for the housing industry, but also in 265 other ancillary industries in the country. So it's a very, very significant investment, and through this, definitely the new jobs are created, and there is demand of, then income of the people is increased, so therefore more consumption. So finally, it definitely adds to the GDP of the country.
Another thing is that when people have a pakka house, and if they are living in the pakka house, how it affects their working condition, because the important thing is that if you have a better housing, then it will also have some kind of impact on your productivity, and that will have an indirect contribution towards the GDP. How do you explain this, sir?
Absolutely. When people are living in slum areas or jhoppies, in that case, their productivity, work productivity is directly affected. So once you give them pakka house with the facility of electricity and water, then definitely it affects their health. When their health is in good condition, definitely they can contribute more to the GDP of the country. So it also increases their standard of living, their buying power increases, and they can give better education to their children, and they can have a better health facilities. So this accounts for overall well-being of their family. And when these kind of pakka houses are given, definitely, number one, the education of their children is ensured, the health, safety, and their buying power, that also increases because they will do more productive work. So this way, definitely, they are able to contribute more to the GDP of the country, and which is definitely a very good contributor.
When we talk about this kind of arrangement where the interest subsidy is given, do you think that this is also encouraging more and more people to go for housing rather than they are just going for a rented house? And as you rightly mentioned in the beginning, that you will see higher amount of urbanization by the end of 2030. So people will go for more owning the house or building the house rather than going for renting.
Definitely, like 3 basic needs of people, that is, of course, shelter is the basic need, and the clothing and eating, that food. So this is one of the basic needs, and anyone who is coming, is migrating to city, first his dream is to have his own house, whether the house is small or big, but the person definitely after days working, he would like to go to his house and sleep peacefully. These people, when people migrate from these cities to urban areas, they have a lot of problems. Like they don't have the documents to show to banks for their loans. But through this affordable housing scheme, definitely, number one, there are different schemes that you just elaborated right now. There are various categories, as you said, like in situ, then there is EWS, then there is LIG, includes people who have got more than 10,000 rupees income per month. And it goes up to, in metro cities, it goes up to around a 50 lakh house. So when these people, they try for these housing, and there is a scheme from Government of India, then more people, they will apply for the housing loans, and more people would like to have houses. This will give a total part to the economy, and overall it will contribute to the GDP.
And when we say in situ slum rehabilitation houses, how this is going to improve the urban landscape?
When people live in slum areas or they create jhuggi and jhopris, that means they occupy the land which is in urban or urban peripheral areas, and this creates a lot of other socio-economic problems for the society. So people who have been there for a very long time, they are living in jhuggis. In situ means wherever they have created those jhuggis for a very, very long time. Government has identified one recently. The Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated today. More than 3,000 houses were given in Kalkaji extension in Delhi. Then there's a scheme in Kotputli and another area. So definitely this in situ scheme that gives them the Pakka house. So since they are living there for a very long time, but they live in a very, very bad conditions. But by giving the in situ housing by the Government of India, then they have water connection, they have electricity, and there are other facilities. There are facilities for their children's education. So this way, I think that we are creating a more harmonious society. We will have better people for tomorrow. Their children's education is ensured. So these are definitely the schemes which are required, which the government is definitely generating these kind of in situ houses through this affordable housing scheme.
Now the government has extended the timeline to 2024. So how hopeful you are of meeting the target of 1.12 crore in next 2 years?
Definitely, I think that first thing for this is, since this is also a state subject, I believe that wherever the state governments are very, very proactive, this target is not too big, since 40 lakh houses have already been sanctioned. So it is a question of construction. Now recently we saw that there are lighthouse schemes. That means it was inauguration of these lighthouses, which was in 6 places where the international technology, sustainable technology is also promoted, so that these houses can be made at a speed, and they are Pakka houses, they are energy efficient houses, and technology will definitely play a very big role in constructing these houses, for which the government has definitely ensured that the latest technology comes so that these houses can be made faster. So I think that I'm sure that these houses will be made within stipulated time, which the government has extended 31st of December 2024.
And my last question to you, since you talked about the technology, the government is saying that around 16 lakh houses are being constructed using the new technology. So do you expect more and more innovation in the real estate sector, construction sector? And that will help not just the scheme, but also those people who are not going to take the benefit of it and they want to construct their house on their own. So do you see more and more innovation coming in this because of the promotion of technology for constructing houses by the government system?
Definitely in last 3 years or 4 years, we have seen that innovation is the basic driver of growth, not only in housing sector, but all sectors of the economy, especially after the COVID. We have seen that how technology has intervened every sphere of our life, how the world is changing due to technology. And technology and innovation, these two things are drivers of the growth in modern life. And there is transformation happening not only in the manufacturing sector, this transformation is happening even housing and construction sector. Today, building these many houses with the new technology, with the new instruments that we have, and it is not difficult to achieve this target. And we are seeing many new technologies which are changing on day-to-day basis, on monthly basis. And I'm sure that with the kind of speed the whole world is moving forward, and India, which is right now growing at the fastest speed, Indian economy, I'm sure that we are the adopters of the technology, and we have adopted technology in every sphere of our life. And therefore, this housing and construction sector is not far behind. They are adopting technology. Therefore, I see no reason why this target by 2024 will not be achieved in giving this housing for all, which the government has envisioned.
Dr. Mehta, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Prime Minister's vision on housing for all, policy initiatives and progress. The participants were Dr. Ranjit Mehta, economic analyst, and Shishir Sinha, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.